22nd, 2024. It's about 65 degrees, maybe 67, somewhere around there. And Hive 5 is our uninsulated control. It has dipped below 100 pounds, so I want to open it up, look in there and see if they're going to have enough stores, see what 100 pounds is, see if there's still some frames of honey in there or if they're going to need to be fed. Got a lot of pollen coming in, so let's see if we can do this. It's stuck down. Probably propolis on the lid. Yep, big old wad of propolis. There's our insulated top. Set that off now. Quite a few bees up here. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the bottom first. Just see if there's a lot of bees in the bottom, just like there are on the top here. They did not propolis this shut. Still vented. There's a little propolis on the edge. So, and I'm not gonna smoke that. I'm just gonna smoke the entrance. So I don't want to drive them down yet. Once I pop the box and set it over here, then I'll smoke the middle. Keep myself covered up for right now. There's that box that split too, and these are newbie boxes from Galena Farms. Noticed a lot of the Chinese ones have that edge joined. Don't know if the quality is any different. Can only speak about the newbie ones. Alright, this first time I open these, usually I can't even get them out and I have to go to the top box, but I'm going to see if I can lift it and give it a good twist. It feels like it's lifting just fine, so lift it enough to smoke the bees a little bit. Yeah, that's lifting just fine. And then we'll still give it a twist if we can. Neighbors' dogs are having fun. Alright, actually I'm going to take a peek under here. So I don't see any sort of swarm cups or swarm cells or anything yet. I do see larvae, drone comb larvae. Just my warning of when we're going to want to graft. So yeah, these are drone larvae, not quite to the purple eye phase. There's a lot of bees in here though. Again, this is our lightest hive, so, and this was uninsulated, so the need to insulate may not even be necessary. Okay, get a little smoke on these girls. Looks like something's blocking my. There it is. A little bit of smoke there. Keep these girls in the dark. So any of this stuff needs to come off so that I don't smash more bees on the way. I'm gonna put things back together. For right now, I'm just going to lift the frames, and when I get over there, I'll work on cleaning those. So these bees are a little agitated, but it's a little cooler. They haven't seen me in quite a while. I think October was the last time I inspected, and it's now February. So these may not be all the same bees. Okay, that's really light. There's small hive beetles. You would expect to see them on these outside frames. That frame is completely empty. A little bit of honey over here. And there's a little bit of honey on the outside. Don't see any small hive beetles. That's a good sign. Set that one out. Definitely want to check these ears too. Sometimes we get like wax moth larvae and stuff that have burrowed in since they've been underneath that frame rest all winter. And you put it on your cover, and then it sticks to your cover, and then you repeat the same mistake. And I like to just move slow so the bees don't get too agitated with me. There's honey, there's nectar, and there's pollen and bee bread in here. Don't see any eggs or anything down here, but seems like she could come back down here and lay. We've got still a honey band down here. A little bit of nectar. And open cells in the middle. With that much open space, you wouldn't think that she'd be ready to swarm. But that could all change in the next couple weeks. Especially as the weather stays warm. Sometimes when you move your hands quickly across the tops, they'll come out and see. Buzz you a little bit. Let's adjust that. There it goes. Got a few girls that aren't happy with my presence. Usually they'll come check me out and then go back to work though. So pollen, nectar, and honey. Some red pollen coming in this time of year, that's good. Yellow is probably maple, the red was henbit and purple dead nettle. I think I've seen mostly henbit so far this year. Yeah, that's nectar right there. Honey. So they're either bringing something in or they're converting their honey to sugar or to nectar so they can use it. I don't think that they usually uncap more than what they can use though. So that must be nectar from something. I'm getting a little agitated. Off. Ooh. Bumped some against the edge. Definitely crunched one or two there. It's all pollen, some honey. It's a really good resource frame. See, nectar and honey and pollen. The bees all look healthy. I don't see any K-wing. I don't see any deformed wing virus. There are eggs in this area right here. So, yep, just the top little bit, there's eggs in there. And I'm guessing they may have chimneyed with all that amount of pollens on this side, but let's see what else we see. Usually they'll keep that pollen to the next to all the brood. Take a second here and see if I can get these peeled off now. Smoke them a little bit and then just give them a second. Check out one and then you can go back to work. I guess if we're seeing brood in here, there's probably brood in this next stretch. So I'm just gonna find a place to put my finger here. This girl's not excited to see me. If that's the case, then you can always switch to the other side. Just use the tool on this side. And then I just set that corner down so I can regrip. Some brood. Oh, I see a drone that is out. There's another drone right there. So that's our heads up that things are getting kicked off. Now they're not mature enough to fly yet, but... And this was our lightest hive, so... One I should probably check next. Yeah, there's eggs almost to the bottom of this, so this is definitely an area where she could be. That looks like an older bee there. Doesn't have much hair on it. Yeah, so the Hive 7 would be one I'd be concerned about. And just checking under the frame ears there. I have a little bit of white under it. Alright, girls. I think what I'm going to do is get this cleaned off, check one more frame, sorry girls. It's kind of sticking. There it comes. Cap brood, open larvae. I think that she may have capped this and she's relaying in it. This may already be the second round of bees for the year. There's some pollen right there. It's a pretty good pattern. And I see some drones down here, drone comb down here, so. And I'm guessing that ring is going to continue on the next frame above it. So we'll check a few frames on the upper box. What I'm not seeing a lot of is stores. So they very well could be close to starving if there's nothing in this upper box. So I do my best to slide these as a group if possible. That way it minimizes the pinching of the bees between here. So I will have an opportunity here and there to pinch bees. I should have put that frame down a little closer, but just go in slowly. So, okay, there, one of these. Stop. Stop. Off. feed them because the next hive over is almost 2 pounds the whole winter, so maybe just not have many bees. So maybe I'll use some of those nice soldiers. I have a few honey frames in the fridge or the freezer. In the fridge. I can feed them. Getting a lot of buzz around here. Maybe they clean the top here. What we want to do is smoke them down. And then get that box ready and go. Yep. So there's some weight to this. And I'm pretty square. And I will take this over here. So I'm really thinking that the brood's probably right in here. I guess I had some in the middle on the other ones, but let's check this top one. See what we got. If I was going to see small hive beetles, this is probably where I'd see them. I don't have any plastic frames in this hive though, so that also gives them no place to hide. So there's that. Oh, there's one. Oh, darn. I moved quick and startled them. Oh, okay, come on. They've had little propolis jails here. They actually molded up. So nasty. Here. So I did see one small hive beetle, and it went down and in, unfortunately. I wonder if that mold's just on the propolis. It kind of looks like it is. It is. Huh. A little bit on the frame. So again, I tipped the bottom and I didn't see any queen cells, and that's typically where I'll see them first, is sort of between those boxes. I'm gonna crack. I kind of need to see if there's honey frames in here, so I need to get this one. It's got a really wide frame though. It's built out really wide, so I don't know if I can pull that one first without damaging anything else. I may need to pull the second one first. They're a little agitated. I don't blame them a bit. Propolis tying these together. Okay. It's a pretty good sign. I was a little worried they were eating themselves out of house and home, but that is nice frame. That side of the foundation is not built out well because of the next frame, but it's got honey too. So usually it's 5 pounds, about 5 pounds if you get both sides, but I would just say that one's maybe 2.5 pounds. But something like that can only get them about a week. The next frame looks like it's honey too though. And I'm just going to move these over and look down them instead of cracking them all the way open. Instead of pulling them all the way out. Yep, that one's honey on the other side of it as well. This next one looks like it's somewhat open. Yep. So, do you need to insulate? Probably not here. It's quite the brood pattern. Not insulated. A lot of open larvae, nectar and honey, and pollen. So, taking care of business. Now, the reason they seem to insulate is they're burning through their honey stores pretty quick. Look at that slab of brood already. February. That is incredible. So, yeah, they're either going to need to be fed or get frames of honey swapped in here so that they have food. Yeah, the next one's a slab of brood as well. Well, look at that. I said there wasn't anything, but I'm going to pull this off. That was just a vertical cut. And looks like for a second it had an egg in it, but it did not. Yeah, there's something about these blue gloves. I mean, the bees will land on my hands. It feels weird and it tickles, but they don't really sting through it unless you smash them against something. I don't know if they just don't see it as something that can be stung, but they're extremely agile, so highly recommend using these if you feel comfortable enough to use them. I mean, there is a possibility of getting stung, so. This girl's just a bit more smoke, so I'm not hurting them. Okay. So again, looking at how this is laid up, I'm thinking that these center ones hatched out and these other ones are still the first round, and then she's laying back in the middle. Yeah, the center's laid back up again already. So the first round of brood is coming out. This population's going to do nothing but grow, grow, grow at this point. Which means they're going to have to eat, eat, eat. More agitated than I'd like. Take a second, step back. I think we've seen what we need to see. Probably not enough honey in this hive. I do have at least a week's, well, probably have 3 or 4 pounds, which is typically a week. I'll just need to look at the long range forecast to see if I'll still have an opportunity to continue to feed, or I'm going to have to hurry up and do something. There's still a chance of cold snaps around here all the way up until the last week in February, first weekend in March, and sometimes even the week after that. But if we can get them through, let's see, today's the 22nd, 2 more weeks, I mean, it may be okay. If I'm seeing drones already, they're definitely going to start thinking about wanting to swarm. So they must feel the timing is right in that department. All right, girls, dropping it in. So, I think we're okay now. Definitely gives me something to think about. And again, this one's 100 pounds. I think the next lightest one is 15 pounds more than this. So that means it would have 3 more frames full of capped honey, which should get them pretty close to the flow. But they're going to try to swarm before the flow, so I definitely need to deal with any splits or anything like that we want to make. I'm going to try OTS queen rearing this year. And basically, what I'll do is I'll try to find the queen, put her in the bottom box, and then notch some queen cells, or some eggs, for 36-hour-old larvae, and then put a queen excluder in, and see if they'll take. If they won't take, then I'll have to actually separate them, and I do have a Snellgrove board, or double screen board, whatever you want to call it, so that we can isolate the two so that the pheromones aren't passed between the 2 boxes. A lot of the stock that we have, kind of hard to pick between these 6, but the most important thing is they overwintered. And that gives them that's a big deal. I think they'll all probably produce honey well because of the forage that we have, as long as I can get the timing right on doing splits and stuff. And then they all were in pretty good shape as far as mites were concerned. Just didn't have many. Slide this back to where it was. Alright, we're done. Get this top back on. Get the insulated part back on, and then that's all for today. Looking hive 7. Just to see what we got. Oh, look at that. Drones walking around, so they'll be flying in about a week. Yow. There's another drone there. Looks like it just hatched. It's getting fed. Okay, that drone looks like he just hatched, so maybe a little while before he's mature, but too much longer. And then we already looked at hive 5. Comparative hive is hive 3. That was acting about the same. So we'll look at hive 3. Just kind of curious to see what it looks like from the top. So this one's not as big. It looks like most of their activity's over here. I think the last time we looked, these were still honey, but I do see bees over there, at least patrolling it. Don't see any drones in here now. So maybe that's another benefit. Maybe having the insulation can slow them down. Well, that wouldn't prove true. I mean, if you're comparing these two, then yes, but that other one had drones and it was insulated, so that may have more to do with genetics or even hive strength. Guess we're out here. We'll go ahead and look at the rest. Let's look at one real quick. The wind's been taking these things and blowing them off. Just doing my best to keep this insulation dry. Okay, this is hive 1. I do see a small hive beetle larvae right there. It's kind of wedged in there. I did find one that had dropped to the bottom, so they're dealing with that. This population's mostly over here too. Do see some over here. No drones yet. At least none that are visible from the top. So we already looked at that one. This is hive 4. Hive 4, I think, is a pretty powerful hive too. Or populous hive. Let's see what we got here. This is the one that gets a little moisture on the edges. So there's bees in all the joints, all the seams. Quite a bit of warmth there. I don't see any drones at this time. And we'll look at hive 6. Hive 6 has been, it is the heaviest, but not the strongest. I think it's the heaviest because they're not using their stores. I think it's just maybe a weaker hive. Let's see what you think. It's a much smaller cluster. I don't see much activity at all over here. It's all in this space. So I don't know if the queen is not as strong, or there's some other issue that we're dealing with here. But I mean, they survived. They're just not the strongest. Again, there's a lot of honey in here, so if this cluster's not huge, we could easily move this honey out. So I'm not having to pay to feed sugar or anything like that. I really don't want to feed sugar. Honey is the best thing for the bees, but anything is better than them starving. Looks like Sunday is going to be warm enough. I may have an opportunity to go through all these hives, well, the rest of the hives. So hopefully you can stay tuned for that.